going on, guys? Nollie the Gnome back for another video. Now today's topic we will cover 5 quick ways to gear alts in Legion. Let's face it, the leveling process can be more tedious the more often you do it. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Now this guide isn't for veteran players, it's more for people that have come back after a long break from World of Warcraft, or maybe they've gotten their friends into it, or they've recently done Recruit a Friend. This is essentially saying you have a fresh 110 and you can't even get into LFR yet. So where do you begin? World quests. Now, the first thing I would recommend doing is your emissary dailies. Don't do every world quest on the map, just look for the little box in your top left corner of your map or right corner of your map and see what faction that's for. And just complete 4 daily quests that allow you to pick up that cash. Now, the reason why I say this is because I can't express how many legendaries I personally have gotten from these boxes. Of all of my tunes, most of the legendaries, more than LFR, more than actually raiding, come from these boxes. I don't know if it's intended that way, if it was just pure luck, but it seems to be like a pattern that these boxes drop an awful amount of legendaries, especially for new alts. Now I know you're thinking, you've done this already on many alts, assuming you're watching this and you already have a main account, you're saying, like, I'm so sick of these dailies, I don't want to do these stupid dailies anymore, I already have to worry about Argos and other stuff, but let me explain something to you. What I've done is I've started timing myself, saying, these seem tedious, but how long do they actually take? Generally, to knock out 4 world quests for 1 box is about 10 minutes. That means if I let my world quests or these boxes accumulate by not doing dailies for 3 days, and then I do them all in one blast, it takes me about a half an hour to get 3 boxes. That's incredibly worth it. And even if you don't get a legendary out of it, you can get the essences which go towards a legendary after you have 1,000 tokens. Argos. Argos is an amazing zone for catching up to your mains. The gear that often drops in itself isn't great, besides some of the relics that made Titanforge. But the real value is in the shards. For 650 shards, you can buy a piece of armor that will be a baseline 910. However, this could very well Titanforge, putting you way ahead of the pack. Now, because tier armor is generally considered the best, it's highly recommended that you only spend shards on trinkets. Mostly trinkets, you can maybe buy a relic if you need, but mostly relics will drop in LFR as well. Now, the reason why you're mostly spending these shards on trinkets is because trinkets are a little bit more fluid. While there will always be a best in slot, there are many trinkets that can be considered upgrades to you, especially if they Titanforge. Now, the Arcana Crystals one you won, depending on your spec, you may want another one from Taurus the Burning Throne, except for the time being, until you're able to get into a Heroics or Normals, by handing in these shards for these trinkets, you very well may get something that Titanforges to 930, and that'll put you way ahead of anything you'd normally be able to get given your low item level currently. Now, before you leave Argos, I want you to look on the map for something called invasion points. Now, invasion points are small invasions that you need a group for. Any size group is possible. You could solo, but it would take longer. And it's a great resource, mostly for shards. You have a quest to do 3 invasion points a week, but you can do more than that. You can do them daily, I believe. And you'll just collect quite a bit of shards every time you complete one. Now, on another note, following the invasion points, there's greater invasion points. Greater invasion points is like a world boss. You can do that once a week. It drops 930 armor, and it is highly recommended that you at least do this once a week. Even if you don't spend a reroll on it, a chance at 930 armor, especially for a new alt, is a huge upgrade, bigger than you could ever imagine. If you're all of a sudden a fresh 110 and you're walking around with a 930, you're going to feel it. The last thing I recommend farming on Argos is rare spawns or chests. Now, both the rare spawns or chests have the added bonus and benefit of dropping toys and other fun stuff like mounts, vanity items, but the real reason why you're farming these guys is they both drop quite a bit of Veiled Arcanite. Now, the spawns change depending on the day. They'll be on one of the 3 islands, and so do the chests. So you just have to look for that. You can download add-ons for that, or you can just follow people. As you're mainly questing around, you'll begin to uncover a lot of the rare spawns and chests, and then you just kill them or loot the chests. Go out of your way to do so. It's definitely worth it to get the Veiled Arcanite, because once again, this whole thing is just converting as many Veiled Arcanite as you can into as many trinkets as possible to up your chances of getting a decent trinket. Now, I've actually gotten legendaries from this method as well. I've gotten 2 legendary trinkets by doing this, so just letting you know that's an option as well. Looking for raid. While looking for raid can get a bad rap, all in all, the juice is far worth the squeeze. What I mean from this is, despite it being a toxic cesspool of self-entitled brats acting like they know everything, the gear that you obtain through LFR will greatly benefit your character, far more than it's just worth dealing with those ignorant people. Tier specifically is exceptional for any class. In fact, I can't think of any current spec where tier is not part of the best in slot, even if it's from looking for raid. So make some coffee or tea, grind out your weekly LFRs as you may get a tier piece, and if you're lucky, you may Titanforge. I have a 950 Titanforged piece from looking for raid, and it's tier, so I haven't replaced that even though I've been running normals, and been getting heroic pieces. So you never know, you may get an LFR. Mythic and Mythic Plus dungeons. Now I know what you're thinking. Nollie, I can barely get into LFR. How am I supposed to get into a Mythic? This is where you hold all the power. Make your own group. It may seem daunting at first, but what you will notice is people with way higher item levels than you will join your group just because they don't want to have to make a group themselves. This means that you get carried, and this is fine. They just want to get the Mythic done. They're happy to be in a group rather than making one themselves. The cost of being group leader is putting together the group. The benefit is you can be the worst player in the group without fear of getting kicked. Use this to your advantage and run as many Mythics and Mythic Plus as possible. If you're feeling brave, queue for some lower level Mythic Plus if you're more of an undergeared character, and you'll see how your item level will just fly up. And lastly, and the most difficult on this list, just because it's very tedious, make a normal group. People are so hesitant to make a normal raid. I'm unsure as to why this is though. It's been easier than ever to make a group, and assuming you're not a tank, you don't even really need to lead. I would argue most tanks would take the reins of the group, as they are the ones often making the polls and marking bosses anyways. The benefit again to making your own Antorus, the Burning Throne group, is the freedom to be as terrible of a player as you want without never getting kicked. People may argue it's unfair to the other players, but my logic says 1, don't group with me or just leave, and 2, the reward for me putting together the group, that you have the benefit of just showing up and collecting free loot, is the freedom for me to perform poorer. Not by choice, obviously. Don't get carried because you're lazy. Try your best, but if you're trying and you're still at the bottom of the charts, don't sweat it. You made the group and you're the leader, so you're never going to get kicked. I want to thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you felt this video brought you value, you want to check out my other videos, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this content because maybe we can get more viewers. Something I'd like to do in the near future is I'd like to start collaborating with some of you guys. Maybe we can start making some raids happen. I think it'd be a lot of fun to start exploring higher content, maybe like Heroics or higher Mythic Plus. And if any of you viewers are interested in that, you can get in touch with me by commenting on YouTube or finding me on social media. Maybe we could set up a time and a date to get a video going, and we can actually live stream it. Live stream a raid or live stream a Mythic Plus. I think it would be a lot of fun. So if that's something that interests you guys, try to find me at Nollie the Gnome on social media, or just like, comment, or subscribe on these videos, and we can get in touch that way. I want to thank you guys once again for watching. Until next time, Nollie the Gnome out.